Several provinces and at least one territory have reached a deal with Ottawa to implement $10 a day childcare in the next 5 years. Here are the holdouts: Alberta, Ontario, New Brunswick, Nunavut, and the Northwest Territories. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau says he's hopeful deals can still be reached if his government is re-elected.
We are very optimistic we're going to be able to continue to move forward and build a truly high-quality, national, affordable childcare system for families, for moms, for kids to have the chances to start, but also for better work conditions and pay for early childhood educators across the country, because we know how important this is.
Rebecca Schulz is Alberta's Minister of Children's Services. She's in Edmonton. Minister, thank you so much for joining us today. I'd like to start by asking what it is that you propose to the federal government when it comes to a childcare deal.
Sure. We proposed a deal to the federal government that I think addresses both their goals within the next 5 years to get to a place where we're seeing reduced childcare fees by half on average here in Alberta, and also reducing fees to an average of $10 a day by the end of that 5 years. Our proposals specifically targeting dollars to low and middle income families based on some of the feedback that we had from a pilot program here in Alberta, as well as a proposal that really reflected the mixed market that we have here in Alberta. We are disappointed. I think we thought we were quite close to getting an agreement before the federal election was called. I would say right up until Saturday afternoon, I was feeling very optimistic, and obviously now I'm a little bit disappointed that we have an election call and Alberta parents have to wait a number of weeks before we can get back to those negotiations.
So from your perspective, we can get back to negotiations because depending on the outcome of the federal election, it might be a very different situation. But from your understanding, what was it that led to this deal not getting across the finish line? You say you were there just before the election call on Saturday, optimistic. Where did things fall apart? What happened?
I think what kind of happened at the last minute was we were told that there was political will, and certainly we had political will on our side to get this agreement signed. There were some last minute details, things like potential wording changes that we had to look at to make sure that we were very clear on the outcomes, and some more detailed consultation plans. Since I think it's a little bit frustrating, we've seen the plans from a number of other provinces where we've seen maybe not that level of detail. That said, we have really, I think, a great system of high quality childcare here in Alberta. And I think we put forward a really good plan that would improve affordability, accessibility, and maintain that high quality system that we have. And so, you're right. None of us know what the outcome of the federal election is going to be. If it is a Trudeau Liberal government, we will continue these negotiations. We will absolutely be ready to have a plan for when government resumes. That said, if it is an O'Toole Conservative government or even an NDP government, whatever the outcome might be, we are willing to work with whatever federal government is elected to lead the government of Canada. And we do know that access to affordable, high-quality childcare is going to make a huge difference, both in the economic recovery of Alberta, but also Canada.
Now, you mentioned other provinces. Premier Jason Kenney has previously said that Alberta wants the same kind of deal that Quebec got, where Quebec already has a low-cost $10 a day or low-cost childcare system. And part of the reason, what the explanation we had been told, and it's up to you whether you accept that explanation, but was that, because Quebec already has that system in place, the money that they're going to be using will help expand the system and help pay childcare providers more money so that they can expand the system, create more spaces, allow more kids to get in, and to pay those workers more. Premier Kenney had previously said he wants a string-free, this cash, string-free. Was that a hang-up there? Is that part of the reason why this didn't cross the finish line? Because there were strings attached?
That's a good question. So our first request really was for no conditions, if you will. And the reason why I asked for that is we agree on investing these dollars in childcare in a way that meets the needs of Alberta working parents and Alberta childcare operators. And we didn't want to be in a position where we were trying to negotiate the fine print when an election was called. I thought that was a fair request. We were told, one day before Quebec signed a deal, that no province would be receiving a no conditions attached deal, to which I said, okay, I do understand that. But in the interest of time, then let's talk about the things that we agree on. The very next day, we heard the announcement from Quebec with, Quebec celebrating that they had a no strings attached, no conditions attached deal. I felt like that was somewhat frustrating because, again, we heard one message from the federal government one day and a different message the next. So we put together another iteration of a plan. And we're told that we needed then more detail, which we were happy to provide. We came forward with a plan last week. And, again, we were really under the impression that there was the political will to get that signed. We were on standby, certainly until late on Saturday, hopeful that we could get to a place where we could sign an agreement. I think now what we're working on is getting some clarity around language and wording, as we were asked to do. Also some more detailed consultation plans in a couple of certain areas. And so, unfortunately, the election then puts that process on pause. That said, we will be ready to go, late in September following the election, whatever that looks like.
When you say language and wording that needed to be clarified, what do you specifically mean?
Well, that's a great question. We were told that, we need to tighten up the wording on our commitment to reducing childcare fees by half and achieving an average of $10 a day, which we absolutely are agreed to. So we can fix up that wording absolutely, and also follow up on some of the details that the federal government was looking for. I am optimistic that, again, because we have not only a really great system, it is a mixed market system where 70% of our providers are private operators. And, I think when we think about private operators, what we have come to learn is many of these are still, sole educators, running a licensed facility or a licensed day home. They are educated, they care about safe, high quality childcare. In some cases, they maybe just don't want to deal with a parent board. They want to focus on supporting kids and families, and so they have chosen to remain a private operator. Here in Alberta, I think our percentage of private operators is a little bit higher, and so that was one of the things that we worked on with the federal government. We were told that they understand that that's our makeup, and that they as well were not interested in necessarily leaving out 70% of Alberta parents and children and childcare operators, and so we were just working on some of the fine details there. But like I said, I'm optimistic. We are ready to negotiate however this election goes. But again, we have to meet the unique needs of Albertans and Alberta childcare operators, and I believe we can do that while still achieving the goals of the federal government.
Minister, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.